there, my name is Chris, welcome to Geek in Training, and this is why everyone should play Dungeons & Dragons. Today's video is not going to bore you with rules. Instead, I'm going to share with you some of my awesome stories from playing the game to inspire any of you geeks in training out there who have not yet played it to give it a try. So, this is Act 1 of The Sword of Insignideus. In this act, we found out that Fallcrest had been under a series of attacks by kobolds recently. In a tavern, of course, why do you ask? A few members of our party decided to join the town guard on patrol. And what do they get attacked by? A displacer beast. Not kobolds, a displacer beast. If you don't know what a displacer beast is, well, it's that terrifying thing. They never stood a chance. Balthazar, our dragonborn druid, gets kidnapped by the displacer beast, and now we have to go rescue him from the kobold's fortress of Care Keep. Ast, a dwarven warrior, and I, a human warlock, decide to take a shortcut through Fool's Grove to get there, because apparently we don't know what the word fool means. First thing we run into is a sinister-looking tree. Good. A field of flammable wheat. Excellent. A bizarre cow, a random mole. Awesome. So we just set fire to everything. The tree doesn't burn, the wheat blows up, killing a giant snail that was just hanging out. The mole has mind control powers that make it take forever to kill, and the cow stinks so badly that it's an act of endurance just to keep standing near it. Which obviously means that Ast becomes obsessed with making it his pet. Oh, and I find a giant carrot that regrows no matter how much of it you eat, and decide to use it as a weapon. Moving on, we run into the world's most adorable gnome who thinks he's a monster and his badger minion Francis. After a brief fight, during which the gnome fights with silverware, we ask the DM, can we keep it? And then proceed to bring the gnome and Francis with us to Care Keep. So we complete several encounters, meet up with the rest of our party, and find out that Balthazar has already killed the displacer beast by tapping into druid powers he didn't know he had. Powers that let him turn into a swarm of bees at will. Therefore, by the time we get there, he has the entire situation under control. It turns out that a group of cultists have forced the kobolds out of the large underground expanse of Care Keep. If we get rid of the cultists, the kobolds won't have to steal from the town anymore. Underground, we find a room with deep growls emanating from it. We crack the door a bit and find out that inside is a chained-up dragon. Balthazar, as a dragonborn, walks into the next room to try to speak to him and assess the situation. Right, so my character is 13, and despite having learned how to speak Draconic, she's never actually had the opportunity to use it before. So she decides she has to speak to the dragon too. Then, with no apparent regard for things like common sense, decides to unchain the dragon so that he can take human form and speak to them. How she didn't get eaten right there and then, I'll never know. The dragon takes human form. He's actually fairly close to Cassie, my character, in mental development, and my friends immediately start teasing me about Cassie having a crush. So the dungeon master makes the appropriate roll, and yeah, Cassie has a crush. Our DM is about to move on, but I stop him. Wait, don't I get to see if the dragon falls for me? The DM shrugs, not thinking I'm going to succeed, and I roll a natural 20. Automatic success. So now the dragon's in love with my character, and we have added yet another member to the party. Everything now comes down to the final fight. One of the cultists has channeled an aspect of Tharizdun, one of the elder gods, and it's up to us to stop him. Everything needs to go our way. Nothing does. Every member of our party ends up low on health and facing death. I'm the only one who's doing okay, and that's only because I'm trying to hide and help the others. Things are really not going well. Until suddenly Balthazar's back on his feet, no longer at death's door, but ready to go. Why the sudden change? No big deal. He just made a deal with the devil. Well, one of the devils, but still. A deal with the devil is never a good idea, no matter what universe you're in. But hey, he's back in the fight. The next thing that happens is that Ast throws Francis the badger. This isn't the first time we've done this. In fact, it's become kind of a standard thing to throw Francis because he defies the laws of physics by going farther than he should, and also comes back to life every time he dies. This throw promised to be like any other, except Francis goes totally god mode with the shiny aura around him and starts fighting with the aspect of Tharizdun. Turns out that he's the elder god Insignideus trapped in badger form. The things you find in Fool's Grove, huh? Now the gods are duking it out and the rest of us are not entirely sure what to do. Balthazar sends a firebird attack into the aura around them and it burns up. The fire burns up. With this in mind, Ast decides that he is going to go into the aura and wrestle the aspect of Tharizdun. So, he just walks into the aura that burned fire and wrestles with the gods. Eventually the aspect did escape, but we did drive the cultists out of Carekeep, so the kobolds got their home back. And they started worshipping Francis. So that's the end of Act 1 of our adventures. But what are your stories? I'd love it if you'd share. See you next week, Geeks in Training. Till then, may you all go out and make your own awesome adventure stories.